Shalom family, shalom guys. I'm coming to you guys today with a quick video. And I just wanted to talk about yin and yang because I was thinking about this yesterday. I'm sorry, I just had to yawn all of a sudden. But I was thinking about the yin and yang yesterday. And we see that the masculine side is white and the feminine side is black, right? It got me thinking about the patriarchy. The patriarchy was supposedly started by the white man, and now we're shifting into the dark side, which would be the black woman. Okay, and this is actually what I've been telling you guys when I talk about the shift and what's happening and how we're going from the patriarchy to the matriarchy, right? Now, when I was looking at some of the attributes of yin, so we're going to read about yin today, I seen that one of the attributes of yin was rest. It was rest. And it made me think about in the scripture where God talks about her rest. So let's just point it out. So say, there remaineth therefore a rest to the people of God. For he that is entered into her rest, he also have ceased from his own works, as God did from hers. Let us labor therefore to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief. For the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. Neither is there any creature that is not manifest in her sight, for all things are naked and open unto the eyes of her with whom we have to do. So it talks about God's rest often in the scripture. So when I seen that rest was feminine yin, it made sense. Now, as I'm looking at the characteristics and how they got some of these characteristics, so they got like light for masculine, right? And I guess that would be because we're looking at the light, the white, but it's actually the woman who's the light, right? The darkness is actually the light. And if you look at it from that perspective, the blackness has the light inside of her, right? She's the light. She has the light inside of her. And the whiteness actually has the darkness inside of him. Can you see if we look at it from that perspective, right? So they had the masculine as the light, and as life, and as birth. And I'm just like, huh? I'm like, how is the masculine the birther, the light, when we know that these is all the life things about the woman? The first woman was actually called life, living. Her name was Eve, life. So, so I seen a lot of characteristics that just blew me on the wrong side of things. And I guess they just put light because this is the light side and this is the dark side. But when we're looking at this, we need to really interpret what we're seeing, right? Because she says, I am black but comely, right? I am black but comely. So I want to read a little bit about the yin, and why I bring this up is because we talked about the shortening of days. And the reason why the days are shortening is because time seems to be speeding up. Now, the reason why I believe time is speeding up is because of the patriarchy. And what I believe is going to happen is, we're going to read about it, but it's going to lead to the singularity, right? And I actually watched a movie called Singularity on YouTube. I mean, not on YouTube, but on Netflix. And basically what it was about, it was about how Earth was destroyed by robots, right? Well, actually, it was a human behind it, but they had made all these robots to destroy like the humans because they felt like humans was destroying the Earth, basically depopulation, right? And it was a few humans who had survived, and they was looking for this place called Aurora, where they said that it was, I guess it was like the North Pole. They said where the robots couldn't go because like they didn't work there or something. Like something was wrong with it was like the electromagnetic field of the area didn't allow the robots to work there. So they was trying to get there. Now what happened was they planted a boy robot with this human girl. She didn't know he was a robot. He didn't know he was a robot. To like basically have him go with her and find the place with her Aurora so they can come and like kill the rest of the humans or whatever. Anyway, long story short, so it was basically about the end of the world, right? And what happened was they ended up at the end going into like this cave, like they was running because they was about to die or whatever. And it actually was a ship. They actually went into inside a ship, and the ship took them to Aurora. So Aurora was actually a new planet, and the planet looked at like Earth, right? So the scripture said there'll be a new heaven and a new earth. So the planet looked at like Earth, and they called it Aurora. And in the show, they was using the Aurora Borealis to like find this place or whatever. So yeah, so that was the movie. It was called Singularity. If any of you have watched it, drop a comment. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's on Netflix. But so time is speeding up. And why do I think that time is speeding up? I think it's because we have abused the feminine principle. Nobody rests anymore. Nobody rests, right? We're not resting. And we're doing everything fast. So we got time speeding up. Right now we have all of this, robots, I should say, cell phones, microwaves. I'm just looking at stuff around me right now, naming stuff, computers, that help us do things faster, right? So now we're speeding up. We're doing everything fast. We have fast food. So in a way, they're saying that the robots killed the humans. And that's kind of true because they allow us to speed up time to get to that singularity point. What happens is they call it a big crunch, or even there are a lot of different scenarios, but we're going to read about the big crunch. And what happens is everything expands until it collapses, and it's called the big crunch. And then what we get is, they say, a big bang, which starts the beginning of a new era or earth. Okay, so we're going to read about that, but and the singularity. But I lost my thought. What did I want to say? Okay, let's just pull some stuff up. It'll come back. Oh, expansion. And it was funny because as I was looking at the characteristics of the yin and the yang, I seen that they did have expansion on the masculine side. And I said, very interesting. So let's let's read about this. So let's say, and remember I told you guys, was it the last video or the video before last, when I was out in the car and it seemed like a split second, like it was like I went back in time like a split second. I don't know how to explain it, but it was funny because I'm reading this and it's talking about a split second and all this stuff. So it say, many of us wish we could get through this difficult year as quickly as possible. Seems the earth feels the same way. It has been spinning usually fast lately. 2020 included the 28 shortest days since 1960. So it go on to talking about the atomic clocks, how they have to take off a second. So 2020 has shortest days on record. Before this year began, the shortest day since 1973 was July 5th, 2005, when the Earth rotation took 1.0516 milliseconds, less than 86,400 seconds. So it just talks about how 2021 is going to be even shorter. I'm not going to read all of this because I just want to speed this up. But it's talked about split second, and I thought that was funny because of what happened to me the other day, which I really wish I had evidence of that it was on camera, but I didn't hear it. So Earth is speeding up. So I believe this represents the shortening of days, right? Now we're going to read about the power of yin, and then we're going to get into singularity and all of that. So it says, what is yin? Yin is the term that comes from the classical Chinese concept of opposite yet complementary forces, yin and yang. Yin is described as the shadow side of the mountain in relation to the sunny side, which is yang. Yin is dark, cool, quiet, and so we often neglect the importance of yin in favor of the hot, bright, loud, lang elements in life. And that's another thing. It gave like hot. I really think that women embody a lot of both of these things. And, you know, in the scripture, God says, I create good, I create evil. I do all things, right? So I can really see women embodying all of these characteristics, because when we talk about warm summer in these type of months, what's really happening in those months is life. Things are being born. Spring, stuff is springing forth. Stuff is being born. Summer, we're getting, stuff is being produced from the earth, right? From the womb of the earth. Life is being brought forth. And I really see that as a feminine aspect, yet they had it on the masculine side, right? So what it all boils down to me is I think that women, when they're balanced, when the woman is balanced in her masculine and feminine energies, she really embodies that God-like being. Just from this is just my take, what I'm seeing on it. So it's it is an elegantly simple concept that yin yang can describe mind-bending complexities of the mechanisms of the universe. Its essence is encapsulated in the yin yang symbol. No matter how you try to dissect this circle, every slice will contain both yin and yang. Now I want to stop right quick, because as you guys know, I've come across this manosphere and MGTOW, and I really feel a strong disdain, a hurt, because our people are killed for a lack of knowledge. And it's so sad, because I feel like agents have been implanted in our community to push this whole patriarchal mindset, because they know what time it is. They know the shift is here and what's happening. And it's like our men are being killed for a lack of knowledge, because we are not taught these spiritual aspects of things. And, we have these agents come into our community and tell the man, oh, the woman's supposed to be subject to you. They're supposed to sit down and be quiet and shut up and be in subject and be silent, et cetera, et cetera. Like these people, they always, and for a perfect example, I read a comment just recently on one of these videos, and a woman said, a husband is also supposed to be subject to his wife, yet they never say that. These people who are supposed to be Christians never say that. And she said it was horrifying. That was her word. It was horrifying, and I completely agree with her. So we have these agents coming in pushing this narrative. Why? Why are they pushing this narrative? Because Satan know that he has a short time. And it's so sad that so many of our people, our men, are being caught up into this. Our women also, because they want to be good women, and I don't fault them for that. And so they're trying to conform to what somebody is telling them a good woman is, right? Whew, Lord. And it's just so sad. Our people are killed for a lack of knowledge. So it's define, let's keep reading. It is impossible to separate yin from yang. They don't exist without each other because they define each other, transform into each other, create balance and harmony together, and are completely interdependent. Now, somebody just, as I just said, I feel like those characteristics, somebody just posted this in my Facebook group, and it's saying, we have forgotten the earth is used for the education of the spirit. Once we open to the reality that life is an illusion and earth is a school, all three aspects of Mother will return with full wisdom. Triple goddess or triple aeon of Barbello. The three aspects are creator, birth, preserver, life, and destroyer, death. So we can see, like I said, God says, I do good and evil. I bring life and I bring death, right? So I said, I feel like the woman is the most embodiment of that, right? So when a woman is balanced with her masculine and feminine, she embodies God, right? So just to throw that out there. It says yin can be described as the quality of slowing toward stillness. It's the withdrawing, the receptive. It's what nourishes, what holds, what contracts, what is degenerating. It's an entropic force. In the body, yin is the substance and states that nourish, and the matter that catalysts act upon to transform. So it's a yet so often today in a relationship to the ebb and flow of our lives, we don't value our yin. We don't protect it, nourish it, cultivate it. The body obeys natural law, but we live in an environment that doesn't. In our ceaseless activity, we overwork, we overschedule, we consume too many stimulants, we leave ourselves time poor for the tasks we need to complete. We are glued to technology, rapidly processing volumes of information without a break. We rarely experience silence, and we don't rest when we are sick. We have the most unrealistic expectations of our bodies. Yin states are restful states: relaxation, meditation, rest, napping, daydreaming, sleep, meditative art and music, slow sex, receptivity, quietude, the realms of sensation, space. In our rushed and overloaded culture, embracing these yin qualities are often feels indulgent and triggers guilt. We can feel like we are weak, lazy, unproductive, or vulnerable. We feel guilt or shame about having bodily needs. Through all this, we have misunderstood the power of yin. We have all sorts of judgments about dropping into deep, restful yin states. What are yours? So say the good news: great sleep produces optimal performance. Slowing down enables better concentration. Allowing space to digest information allows processing and integration of information. Boosts brain power. The body can go into growth, repair, rebalancing, and healing during rest periods. So the feminine is about growth, repair, rebalancing, and healing during the rest periods. Slowing down allows you to access your non-work self. Without periodic and ample restoration, you consume all your resources without replenishment. So listen to this. It say without periodic and ample restoration, you consume all your resources without replenishment. And this is where we are headed if we continue in a masculine only patriarchal society, to consuming all of our resources. If you push yourself beyond your capacity, you start to consume your reserves. Do this for long enough and you're on the burnout train. Your actions start to lose presence, efficiency, focus, and power. You start to lose the ability to relax. You're entering into empty yin territory. Empty yin. So it says empty yin happens when you've let your stress run your life. Being in flight or flight mode has become your norm, and you no longer listen to your body's messages to slow down, take space, rest, relax, and recuperate. Empty yin feels like pressure, fatigue, irritability, anxiety, inability to relax, reactivity. Empty yin can feel inflamed and dry. You may have taped your adrenals, You may have tapped your adrenals, stressed your digestion, put pressure on your liver, and overwhelmed your mind. The good news is that to reverse this scenario, to build your yin back and heal your body, relaxation, rest, and recuperation are the only technologies that will get you there. You must give your body the environment it needs to heal, and that is in the rest and digest state. At first, it can be hard to finally feel what your body has been trying to tell you for months. You can crash. That's okay. Understand that it's through the crash that you will build power. You're cultivating the essence from which the next thing will spring. When you get the hang of yin restoration, it can feel lovely, a beautiful return. There is an art to relaxation, which is different from the rest and different from sleep. So, the internal martial arts, the yin arts, training the mind, cultivating spirit, have always understood that to cultivate power, you need to periodically turn inward. With this space and quietude, we can develop the relationship to our inner world. We can process and let go of how our life has affected us. We can get clear on our deep motivations. We can reconnect with the consistent witness self that is less swayed by the comings and goings of life. We can realign to our center, and we can house our mind back into our body, cleansing the doors of perception so as we can be refreshed when we re-engage with life outside ourselves. Without this space, without this downtime, without letting go, without these rhythms, it's an endless pushing of your own willpower. And with that approach, how are you meeting life? Okay. So that's a little bit about how I feel where we are and why we're going into a transition. So let's look up the ultimate fate of the universe. So it talks about different types of theories about the end of the universe, with one being the Big Rip. So let's say the current Hubble constant defines the rate of acceleration of the universe, not large enough to destroy local structures like galaxies, which are held together by gravity, but large enough to increase the space between them. A steady increase in the Hubble constant to infinity will result in all material objects in the universe, starting with galaxies and eventually all forms, no matter how small, disintegrating into unbound elementary particles, radiation, and beyond. As the energy density, scale factor, and expansion rate become infinite, the universe ends as what is effectively a singularity. So it say, as the energy density, scale factor, and expansion rate become infinite, the universe ends as what is effectively a singularity. So the big crunch. So we're going the Big Rip. It says, in the special case of phantom dark energy, which has supposed negative kinetic energy that will result in a higher rate of acceleration than other cosmological constants predict, a more sudden Big Rip could occur. So the Big Crunch, it says, the Big Crunch hypothesis is a symmetric view of the ultimate fate of the universe. Just as the Big Bang started as a cosmological expansion, this theory assumes that the average density of the universe will be enough to stop its expansion, and the universe will begin contracting. The end result is unknown. A simple estimation would have all matter and space-time in the universe collapse into a dimensionless singularity, back into how the universe started with the Big Bang. But at these scales unknown, quantum effects need to be considered. Recent evidence suggests that this scenario is unlikely but has not been ruled out, as measurements have been available only over a short period of time, relatively speaking, and could reverse in the future. This scenario allows the Big Bang to occur immediately after the Big Crunch of a preceding universe. If this happens repeatedly, it creates a cyclic model or cyclic model, which it is also known as an oscillatory. Y'all know I get tongue-tied. Oscillatory universe. The universe could then consist of an infinite sequence of finite universes, with each finite universe ending with a big crunch that is also the Big Bang of the next universe. A problem with the cyclic universe is that it does not reconcile with the second law of thermodynamics, as entropy would build up from the oscillation to oscillation and cause the eventual heat death of the universe. Current evidence also indicates the universe is not closed. This has caused cosmologists to abandon the oscillating universe model. A somewhat similar idea is embraced. See, I'm talking about slowing down, and I'm the main one need to slow down. I try to read fast so I can hurry up and get it over with, and it's not good. I be sounding crazy. A somewhat similar idea is embraced by the cyclic model, but this idea evades heat death because of an expansion of the brands that dilutes entropy accumulated in the previous cycle. So they give us these scenarios, and the one that I'm leaning towards is like this big crunch, right? But basically it talks about the singularity. So the big rip and the big crunch is the one. So it says the big rip. In physical cosmology, the big rip is a hypothetical cosmological model concerning the ultimate fate of the universe, in which the matter of the universe, from stars, galaxies, to atoms and subatomic particles, and even space-time itself, is progressively torn apart by the expansion of the universe at a certain time in the future, until distances between particles will become infinite. According to the standard model of cosmology, the scale factor of the universe is known to be accelerating, and in the future era of cosmological constant dominance will increase exponentially. However, this expansion is similar for every moment of time, hence the exponential law. The expansion of a local volume is the same number of times over the same time interval, and is characterized by an unchanging small Hubble constant, effectively ignored by any bound material structures. By contrast, in the Big Rip scenario, the Hubble constant increases to infinity in a finite time. The possibility of sudden rip singularity occurs only for hypothetical matter, phantom energy with implausible physical properties. I just want to look at what they're talking about singularity. So when we go to singularity, we see a gravitational singularity. Space-time singularity, or simply singularity, is a location in space-time where the density and gravitational field of a celestial body is predicted to become infinite by general relativity in a way that does not depend on the coordinate system. The quantities used to measure gravitational field strength are the scalar invariant curvatures of spacetime, which includes a measure of the density of matter. Since such quantities become infinite at the singularity point, the laws of normal spacetime break down. Now it says the animated simulation of gravitational lensing caused by a black hole passing in line of sight planar to a background galaxy around at the time of the exact alignment. Now it says SYZYGY. Now, okay, anybody? We talked about this before. The SYZYGY is was one of the as the name for the bride of Christ, right? And that was one of the words that we seen on the show. What was it? The AO, the OA, the original angel, right? So you can see how this stuff is all ties together. The SYZYGY YGY. Gravitational singularities are mainly considered in the context of general relativity, where density apparently becomes infinite at the center of a black hole, and within astrophysics and cosmology as the earliest state of the universe during the Big Bang. Physicists are undecided whether the predictions of singularity means that they actually exist or existed at the start of the Big Bang, or that current knowledge is insufficient to describe what happens at such extreme densities. General relativity predicts that any object collapsing beyond a certain point would form a black hole, inside which a singularity would be formed. Now they said that they was using wormholes or black holes or whatever to time. It was a show I was just watching. I watched a while ago where they was using those to time travel, etc., space travel. The Penrose-Hawking singularity theorems define a singularity to have geodesic that cannot be extended into a smooth manner. The termination of such as a geodesic is considered to be the singularity, the initial state of the universe. At the beginning of the Big Bang is also predicted by modern theories to have been a singularity. In this case, the universe did not collapse into a black hole because currently known calculations and density limits for gravitational collapse are usually based on objects of relatively constant size, such as stars, and do not necessarily apply in the same way to rapidly expanding space, such as the Big Bang. Neither general relativity nor quantum mechanics can currently describe the earliest moments of the Big Bang. But in general, quantum mechanics does not permit particles to inhabit a space smaller than their wavelengths. So what we see, whatever theory, what we see is a collapse, right? If we keep going in this way, we see a collapse. If we keep expanding and we don't contract ever, we see a collapse that's going to start everything at a singular point. And it's probably inevitable. Because it's just too many people lost, okay? And it's not too many people like me and y'all. And how can we reach the whole entirety of the entirety of the entirety? So yeah, I just wanted to come and talk about this. We are shifting into the black woman. We're to the matriarchy from the white man, the patriarchy. Okay, she has the light in her. He may have had the darkness in him. This is just my interpretation. We know that the man equals flesh in the scripture. And we know what the signs of the flesh is: adultery, murder, etc., etc. Am I saying that all man is bad? No. But when we're talking about we're just talking about their nature, okay? I mean, you can't call a lion bad for like slaughtering other animals to eat or whatever. That's their nature. But we need to understand the nature is not, I guess, good. Like, here I go. I don't want to say it's bad, but I guess there's really no way around it. But I think I said all I wanted to say. Plus, I wanted this to be a short video. I wasn't trying to go into a big whole spiel. And I think I said everything. So, shalom, family. Love you guys. Try to take time. Take your time. I want to say that. Take your time. Try to do things the old-fashioned way, slower. Home cook them meals, girl. Stop buying that box food. Take your time. It take you longer to peel those potatoes and make those mashed potatoes than just putting the box mashed potatoes in there. Make them homemade mashed potatoes, girl. Take your time. Take your time. We need to start taking our time doing things by hand again. Just because we got this stuff, don't let it make us lazy and we speeding up time too fast. Stop eating fast food. Stop eating fast food, y'all. Cook at home. Stop eating fast food. It's okay every once in a while, but you should be cooking majority of the time, okay? Yeah, take your time, family. Take your time. 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 Look, rest. Go slow. Heal, etc. Meditate. So, shalom, family. I love you guys. Until we meet again.